And yes, it is working. All right, I'm bringing the overlay on. And top text. All right. We are live. We were live for a few seconds, but we had a technical glitch, so that is gone now. But no more technical glitch for now. The camera's still down there because I haven't found the little stand that I'm looking for, but whatever. Not a huge deal. Welcome to Composer Talk, May 30th, 2018, and the doc is really, really long.
Yes.
It's not because we just feel like rambling, but it's because there's lots of exciting stuff. Probably the most exciting is the most recent development of composersite.com is down.
As of last time we checked, unless it's gone up, and I don't know when the last time you looked at it was.
This has gone up in the last 5 minutes.
In the last 5 minutes, yep.
Yes. And so, I mean, for those that don't know, composersite.com is like the place to go, well, was the place to go for composition opportunities and events, and it was just really great place. You even get grants and funding through it. The big issue is this isn't the first time that something like this has happened, and plus it's going on a week.
Yeah, no, this happened about a year ago or so. I don't remember exactly.
Well, not this issue, a worse issue.
Well, we don't know what happened this time. The site went down and they didn't have it backed up, so they lost all their information.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people miss calls for scores. Of course, we don't know if they're backed up right now because the site is down. It's been down for about a week, and nobody can get a hold of the people who own the site because nobody knows who actually owns it.
Well, actually, according to the Wikipedia page, can't believe I had to resort to Wikipedia for this. It's Vox Novus.
Vox Novus?
Yeah, it's a new music ensemble. Very good, very professional one. However, I don't believe that. Because if you're professional, you can afford $11 a year to keep a domain name.
It might be professional as an ensemble, not necessarily professional as website runners. Everybody has their niche. But
it's automated payments.
Right.
I mean, how can you not do that?
I don't know. I don't know. Neither of us know why the website is down. The point is that it's down.
I suspect idiocy.
And I mean that happens. Websites go down. OU's website went down for a couple weeks ago for an hour or so. But websites couldn't go down for a whole week.
Exactly. And that's kind of the crux of the issue. Like, my biggest issue was when there was a major storm on the East Coast, it racked my main server thing that housed the Polyphony website itself.
Mm-hmm.
And due to the fact that everything I have runs into Polyphony, it kind of cascaded and everything else went down for an hour or two. But that was the biggest issue I had, and I would say that's completely out of my control. However, I have checked this web domain provider that they were apparently using. They're still up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still 100% up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went there, I actually made a fake free trial to make sure that it was in fact up, and I have my fake website up within, about 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's up. It works. That's not an excuse. I mean, I guess I'm fascinated by this because they don't seem to care. Because if they cared, they would have found out by now, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate. I hope they get the website back up. I find Composer Site to be useful, but at this point, I'm not super optimistic. Even if they do go back up, one thing that I think everyone needs to keep in mind, whether as composers, most of you are listening to this, don't trust Composer's site to be your one-stop for all information about calls for scores, and don't trust any site.
Well, not this version.
Well, really, what I recommend, and I'm working on kind of getting more organized in my own applications and stuff this summer, but just as something as simple as an Excel document where you keep track of the things you've applied to, things you want to apply to, type in the URL to the website, copy and paste, that actually is hosting the call, so that you're not depending on compilation websites like Composer's site for everything, because they're useful. They're not, but they don't, they shouldn't do your work for you.
Right.
So.
But I mean, again, the main thing is due to the, I guess, size of
Mhm.
composersite.com, people just haven't been posting them through normal channels lately.
Right.
I mean,
Mhm.
I haven't been getting many requests to post to the listserv, for instance.
Mhm.
I mean, the only ones we get are for electronic music stuff, because electronic music stuff is still
Right.
relatively niche.
Right.
But I mean, like right here, I've got on the screen right now. This is just a simple folder. I've had this for, I want to say, 6 months or so compiled. And this little folder within my web browser, all it is it's just a bunch of places that house, new music contests, new music, news
Mhm.
websites, a couple of specified ones like the Kusvetsky one and the Barlow Prize, things like that, just so that I'm aware of them, type thing. And now this resource that I came up with on my own, I promise I didn't do this then purposely take down Composer's site. I'm not malicious, but I did this, and I'm very thankful that I did because I'm in good shape. I mean, there are lots of calls that just aren't posted anywhere other than Composer's site,
Right.
but I at least have a couple that, okay, I'll be relatively safe. But I
Mhm.
know that there's a couple of June 1st ones that I'm
Mhm.
about to miss the deadline on, and I never even actually opened the thing because I normally apply to them approximately a week before. And the problem is, the week before was Friday, which was the first day of it being down. So that
And
is the
and
problem.
the thing about Composer's site, they don't really have any competitors. I mean, there are other compilation places
No,
that
they didn't yet.
that are set up by things like SCI and the American Composers Forum, but those tend to be members only
Well,
opportunity compiling kind of things, whereas
I mean,
Composer's
you've
site is
got.
completely open. Um,
I mean,
I mean, music. It's not Music Avatar anymore, by the way.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a new
yeah,
music engine now.
yeah. That's what. See, if they keep changing. That's the thing. That's the problem. I mean, one of the new ones is New
Hmm.
Music Engine, formerly known as Music
Well,
Avatar.
and I mean, new music engine is a thing that exists, but it's not a viable competitor
No, it's
to
not.
not that Composer's site was for profit,
And I
but
am double checking.
hmm.
Uh, I mean, SCI is the only thing that's on here,
Right.
and I've met the man who does this. I think he intends to keep it that way.
Hmm.
I'm not saying 100%, but I'm pretty good at reading people, and it seems that he's mostly interested in funneling SCI stuff into here, and the rest just
Hmm.
who cares?
Which I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what they want it to be, then that's what it is. Um,
Well, but it kind of makes this website useless, though.
well, in my if it were me and I were creating an SCI website for, I would just go sci.com slash submissions and have it be its own kind of thing.
Yeah, heaven
It,
forbid.
the um now it may be that they're right now just keeping it SCI and want to leave open the possibility of expanding it eventually. We don't know. The point is that it's not this isn't really comparable to Composer site. No public access website really is. So there's it's unfortunate that it's
I mean,
going down.
there's
Yeah.
5 opportunities listed. That's more than Composer Site has on right now.
Right now, right now.
5 is greater than.
Hmm.
Can you even say they have 0 right now? Like, do they just have nil? I
Hmm.
guess. Like,
Yeah, but yeah, we'll keep you updated on Composer site. We'll, if next week it's gone back up, we'll let you know. Zach posted a video to his personal channel ranting about this, so if you want to go hear Zach
I
rant, check it out.
just to summarize it, I basically it's kind of 3 parts. One, it's kind of just explaining, kind of justifying who I am as kind of a composer, a student, a professor, an ensemble director, all that stuff. Because I have all these different hats that I wear. Why it's bad for all those reasons. That's down. And also, the next one is, hey, how, like, isn't it mysterious that we don't have a direct line of contact with these people? At least not an immediately available one. And also, it's still not up. I mean, it just shows that they don't care. And then the final part was literally just I kind of just informally decided while I was shooting that little 5 minute rant. Now, it wasn't really a rant. It's more just kind of a reactionary thing, I'd say. But the biggest culmination of that is that I said I'm going to work on my own version, and I've already started. It's not that complicated to do. I mean, I could probably have it up realistically within a week or so, but I'm not rushing because what I'm honestly going to do is I might be the next owner of ComposerSite.com. I have 34 days now until it is available for auction. And when it's available for auction, I'm going to try and get it. Because guess what? I won't let it die. I mean, none of my websites have gone offline ever. At least not of my own avail, other than that couple hours because of the storm. But still, I mean, I have
you haven't let the domain names expire, right?
30 days. But yeah, so I'm going to, and that's what they've done here. So I mean, I'm going to get it because, and I did also leave a message telling them I'm not damning them. I love the fact that they make ComposerSite.com. I think it's a wonderful resource. However, I did summarize that, and I think that you agree. They either need help or they need to learn to care. I don't know which it is, but it's obviously one of them. But yeah, because I mean, and personally, it's not like it's hundreds of dollars or something. We're talking $11. I'm a poor grad student and I can afford $11. I've got like 12 websites right now. Like, come on, it's not hard. Domain names, like $11 and you own one. It's not hard. And the best part is they all have automated payments, all completely automated.
It's like your Netflix. Right?
Yeah.
You know, right?
It's literally, actually, with the Netflix price increase, it's exactly as much as a Netflix subscription. It's $11. So, I mean, it's just like, why wouldn't you do it?
It's less than a Netflix subscription.
And that's Netflix not even per month. Yeah, exactly. This is yearly. It's $11 for a year for the domain name. And especially for something this important, not only should it be automated payments, but it should be insured for the next 3 years at a time. I don't know. It's just... It's silly that we've come to this again. I hope that Composer Site comes back up, but if it doesn't, I am going to seek to be the next proud owner of it, and I'm going to try to do my best to make it what it never was, make it reliable. And you can be well sure that if I do such a thing, it will be incredibly reliable. Anyway, so ComposerSite.com is down. We're sad. Everyone's sad, but maybe some good will come out of it in the end, and hopefully this time we actually get an official response. That's the biggest thing. We never got an official thing from the last time.
And hopefully if this website does go back up and they do decide to get their act together, they not only make the website more reliable, but also make a way to contact those who run it and to know who's behind it, so that when things like this do happen, there's somebody you can contact about it and somebody who can be held accountable.
Well, because like I've got an archived version of the website right here, and there are 0 ways to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
There's the contact us form, but that doesn't do us a lot of good right now, does it?
Yeah. If the contact us form doesn't actually have a real email on it, you know, or a real, or exactly. Say who owns the website,
yeah,
but
I wonder if it would still work, actually. Actually, hang on. I do wonder. Hang on. Control U. Talk about the next thing. I'm gonna
anyway,
so next thing, New Music USA.
Your coding stuff. Anyway, on to happier news. We have some more awards of a monetary nature. New Music USA, the organization that owns the popular site New Music Box, just announced its 8th round of project grants. 8th round is in the 8th time they've done this. To my knowledge, it's not like some kind of, not like a competition or something. But yeah, they awarded $530,000 in total to a total of 108 projects. I'm not going to name all the projects. They all have to do with contemporary composition in some way. Some of them are composers' projects. Some of them are put on by a contemporary ensemble or something like this. But The article about this is available at the New Music Box website, and you can see the names of all the awardees. So congratulations to all these people, and we wish them luck on their upcoming projects. And then we have a lot of new music, lots of premieres, lots of new recordings coming out. Exciting time. First up, in the opera world, there are a couple new premieres to be on the lookout for. The New York City Opera, this weekend, I believe, is going to give the American premiere of Charles Wuorinen opera Brokeback Mountain. Now, you might know Brokeback Mountain from the popular movie that came out several years back. The movie was based on a book, and Charles Wuorinen's opera is not based on the film, but on the book with a libretto written by the author. And I believe her name is something Proust. I'm blanking. Anyway, you Brokeback Mountain. It's based on the novella. Charles Wuorinen is an interesting guy. He's a old composer in the Milton Babbitt generation, and in the Milton Babbitt the Milton Babbitt school writing. He wrote this book, which Zach just loves. And he's a big advocate of 12-tone music, of serial composition over and above the tonal tradition. There's a great profile of this guy up at the New York Times, and I read it and I can't not love the guy. He's such a curmudgeon. It's great.
He's an interesting man. But recently he's admitted, oh, maybe I was wrong. 12-tone didn't win. That's the interesting thing.
I didn't actually hear that. I heard he admitted that.
There was an article in which he admitted that it did not take over popular music like he thought it would.
Yeah, I think he admitted that it didn't win in the I think
so he was wrong.
He still seems to think it's supremacy though. So I don't know.
He does, but he admits that he was wrong in that it did not, overtake.
Well, a lot of people were wrong about that. He's not. No, not
really.
One.
There weren't that many people that thought it would win out. I mean, really, even people like Babbitt, back to the second Viennese school, they never suspected it would take over. It was just a neat way to come up with music.
And I don't think Babbitt thought it would ever take over popular composition.
No,
he very much thought of it as an academic thing, as you can, read in his who cares if you listen essay, which isn't actually what it was called, and it has led to many misunderstandings of Babbitt's thought. But where he basically talked about the composer as specialist and stuff like this. But we're in it. I don't really know his music that well, but after reading a couple of the profiles of him that have come out recently, hearing about this opera, he's a composer who I need to check out. And I'd recommend you do too.
Also on him. So while he figured this out. While Jacob figured this out, he also sent me an interesting article about Charles Wuorinen. Actually, no, I think it was related to this, but it was kind of
that's showing, the article I was talking about at the New York Times.
Yeah, so part of that, do you recall what he said about the recent Pulitzer?
He said something about.
This is one thing that I will salute the man on. I liked his direct quote.
I don't remember the exact quote. He didn't support it. And he said something about. I think the one you're thinking of is the one where he says concert rap will be the death of culture. Western culture.
The death of culture will be marked by concert rap.
I think he's completely wrong.
I think he's right, and I love it. I don't agree with the man, and I think he's right.
Well, see, Zach, I've told you this. In 50 years. I've told Zach, this is going to be you in 50 years. Maybe not with all the same opinions, but back in my day, I don't know.
Back in my day, we actually composed music, not just fast words.
We already talked about the Pulitzer Prize thing, so we don't need to get into that again.
We don't, but I just think it's funny that he did also say some. I did a bit more digging. In the same interview, he apparently said some slightly derogatory things, which are not okay. So that part I will not support. But I do support the whole death of Western culture being concert rap thing, because I think that's funny as heck. but I don't support. Just being clear, I don't support the slightly derogatory stuff he said.
I didn't see if there was something he said that
Yeah, I checked
was.
out the whole interview. He
Oh.
said a couple things that are. It's kind of like the recent Roseanne thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's getting into racially charged territory. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Not quite as
Uh-huh.
direct. It was a little bit more subdued, but yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
So it was basically just kind of the backwoods old family type thing. Like
Yeah.
you know, I don't think he meant it, but it just like if an uneducated observer were to be in the room with him, they might take a second glance, be like, "Did you say that?"
Yeah, but anyway, the opera, it's a few years old, but it's being given its American premiere.
Yeah.
So if you happen to be in New York, check it out, and when it comes out on DVD or is broadcast.
And also, this is linked. Did you mention why it didn't receive its New York premiere like it was supposed to?
No, I didn't.
Because it was supposed to be done by Levine.
Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about
a couple years back. Yeah.
Well, when Levine, from what I understand, when Levine had his downfall, the Met didn't keep going.
They didn't honor his thing.
So it is being done in New York, but it's the New York City Opera.
Now, and that actually brings up a really interesting question. I mean, if let's just say that you went out and found some music for me to perform in the improv group.
Yeah.
And then you're like suddenly disowned because like you said some just horribly racist things at the university that we just don't want to be with you anymore. Like we divorce ourselves from you as a university. Is it a good idea for me just to cancel the music that you brought to the table? Not your personal music, but like music that you found and were like, hey Zach, this is a cool piece. Like, would I be justified, kind of like the Met did, of just, we're not going to do this?
Well, no, I don't think that would be necessary. I don't think this is quite the same scenario. It seems like, I mean, Levine being, I'm not sure exactly how much control Levine had over the programming.
His title was music director.
Music director. So
normally means that you have at least 95% control over what is being performed.
So it could have been, if we're bringing in. We're bringing in somebody different in the interim, and we're just going to do our own thing, because
so I guess the more related thing would be like if I were to get divorced in the university and I had chosen, let's just say the Steven Eiler piece that we just did,
somebody's piece, and then somebody,
and then like if Josh comes in and says, we're not going to do this, is that right of him?
I feel that it's their prerogative as the new director to pick their own.
Now,
music.
What if it this is a commission?
But commission is something different, and when I see something of this, I can't prove this. Obviously, it's just conjecture. But my the obvious suspicion that kind of gets into my mind when I saw this is, they're like, Levine's gone. We don't have to do any more of this atonal music. We can do something the audience will actually.
That was probably what it was.
And that, like I said. I can't. I'm not going to sit here and say that's definitely what it was, because that's not something I can prove. But if it was, that's not surprising but disappointing.
Given the New York Phils and the New York Met, just given the Met and the Phil, they share a lot of the same history.
Right.
Given their history, and I just heard a lot more of it in the past semester, and their kind of rebelliousness towards, I guess, non-Western classical tradition music. I wouldn't be shocked at all. In fact, I would embrace that knowledge as reinforcing what I already know.
Like I said, I'm not gonna say that's definitely it, but it makes me really suspicious, and it's disappointing because I'm by no means the kind of person who's like serialism is the way forward. But I think like probably most composers today, I think it's just a completely viable technique. Of composition, and that we should celebrate the kind of music that challenges us and stretches our ears. So that I did read that, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, but at least it's getting done. It's getting done in America.
At least it is.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting because we talked about that a few weeks ago. See, we're smart. We know how to link back to what we talked about.
And it is available on DVD. Not this performance, but the Madrid premiere.
Right.
So yeah, check it out.
So the next one, the Center for Contemporary Opera in New York, premieres Backwards from Winter
Yeah.
by composer Douglas Kenneth. Is that Nihans?
I don't know. It looks like
I don't often run across words I
Nahans.
can't.
It seems
Douglas
like the
K.
Douglas
Douglas K.
Knehans. Nahans.
Hands. Who cares?
I'm not sure.
And librettist Juanita Rockwell.
Yes.
It's a monodrama scored for soprano, electric cello, computer sounds, and video. I don't know how active those computer sounds are, but
that is what I haven't. It just got premiered. I haven't. I thought it was a little weird that I wrote this down in the document. What they said was computer sound. Usually it seems like you'd say fixed media or something, but that's what the instrumentation was described
as.
Who
did the review?
It wasn't a review. It was on the venue's page or web page or something.
Do you know who did the write-up?
No.
Oh.
But anyway, this is. I mean, it's not. It's an opera premiere, sort of. It's like Zach said, it's a monodrama. It's one soprano,
opera. And it's that opera. I think it's weird opera, but I think it's opera.
Mm-hmm, yeah, genres are wibbly wobbly, genre-wanery. But anyway, the piece, it's from what I've read, it's a very personal exploration. It has basically this soprano is meditating on this romantic relationship that she's had, which kind of reminds me of the Schoenberg, if I can pronounce it correctly, Erwartung. You remember how to pronounce that?
No.
Yeah. But yeah, I have not had the chance to hear this. Because it just got premiered.
Yeah.
But
I'll be interested to. I'm actually interested in the fact that it included computer sound,
electronics,
and mainly because opera's kind of one of those areas that electronics have yet to kind of really punch their way into.
Yeah, not really.
Because electronics even made their way into things like jazz and all that, which I think is interesting.
I just saw an Adam Neely video
where
he talked about his piece that I wrote for Big Band and Electronics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's just like opera's one of the things, and I wouldn't say it's all the way in things like jazz yet, but just like it's not all the way in symphonic rep, but I mean opera is one that it hasn't even like touched yet, and here it's like we're almost there.
And we did talk about another work a few weeks ago that incorporates electronics and video and opera. Michael van der Oz, The Sunken Garden.
That was like a one act. See, that's weird. Like,
I think that was a full opera.
Was it?
If I remember correctly, yeah.
Either way, electronics still haven't really made their way onto the opera scene yet, and I think it's interesting. And that's the part I'm interested in: is what kind of electronics are they including? Because if it's just computerized sounds of like a bird or something, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But if it's actually like adding something more than just ambience, I'm really interested. Like that would be really cool, and I think a lot of people would really enjoy that because electronics are quite enjoyable. In fact, here at OU, our most popular and most well-attended concerts overall in the comp area are the electronic-based ones, and it's because it's new. People like it. And I'm kind of sad that I didn't get to experience it till I got to grad school. But, oh well, that's a different argument.
So, more continuing in new music, new recordings that have come out in this past week. The ensemble Load Bang, which is composed of Load. No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. We had them last week.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
We had something from New Focused Recordings last week.
I promise.
We did not have something from Load Bang. No, we didn't.
That must have seen something, but not.
Anyway, Load Bang is composed of a baritone, a bass clarinetist, a trumpet player, and a trombone player. And this, like I just said, this is another new release from New Focus Recordings, which puts stuff out like every week. And it's all new music. There's works on there by Taylor Brook. Can't read it anymore because William Lang, Jeffrey Gavitt, Scott Wolschlager, Paula Matthewson, and Angelica Negron, who is a composer who I actually know. She was visiting at my undergraduate institution early last semester when I went up for a new music concert that the orchestra was putting on, and I got to talk to her. The orchestra did one of her pieces, and she's a really good composer.
So it was 3 weeks ago. Sorry, not last week.
but anyway, that's something to check out. I've managed to listen to a couple of these pieces. They're pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
New focus recordings. All right.
Yeah.
And then we've got Patrice Michaels. Who knows?
Michaels.
Anymore?
I'm pretty sure it's Michaels.
People change it, especially with Patrice in front of it. Who knows? So, anyways, that human and Kwang Ho Hong, Notorious RGB song works by Michaels, Lightman, Fung, Garrett. It's another Fung, and Derek Wang.
Yeah.
From his opera. I'm not familiar with that.
Scalia Ginsburg. So what this album is?
Those are excerpts.
It's like one song. What this album is it's a bunch of songs that are based on Notorious RGB, who if you're politically savvy, you probably know that's the nickname that people have given Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is like the most liberal justice on the court, and she's known for being a bit of a rebel. so she's developed kind of a cult following among I guess young progressives in politics. And Derek Wang recently wrote, as Zach just mentioned, the opera Scalia Ginsburg, which is about the friendship between the late Antonin Scalia, very conservative justice, and the very liberal Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So that includes an excerpt from that opera, but also several other songs that are drawn from, I think, some of Ginsburg's own writings, some poetry about her. I think one of them comes from I think Stacey Garrop's piece actually. The text is a letter her husband wrote to her before he died.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting stuff. This comes from Cedille Records, which is a record company based in Chicago that we've mentioned on here before. So I find this interesting. The album is available for pre-order now. I think it comes out officially in about a week, but you can listen to a couple samples on the Cedille Records website to see if it's for you. You know, you enjoy it.
I wonder if it's gonna be a while until we get new acquisitions, because fortunately our Media Research Center just received a huge budget.
Oh, the OU, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
just in the headlines, budget cuts.
And a lot of these records we're going to talk about are available for streaming or online purchase. All the New Focus Recordings records are available on Bandcamp.
With that, whenever we say things like stream, make sure you're doing it. Most record companies, whenever they're posting things to be streamed, will do it themselves. Don't believe people that sit there and say, "I am posting this on behalf of." There's no way
when I say they're available for streaming, I mean they're available from the actual website or from
the official
YouTube playlist.
There are
where
exceptions,
they've provided it. Yes.
And the official exceptions are basically if you see one of the people involved, like the producer, one of the performers, etc., as the person that posts, or as someone who commented saying thank you for posting this, then it's okay. And that's a very niche thing. Like, that doesn't happen very often. The main place where you see that happening is, honestly, smaller fries. So in general, things like this, just make sure you're doing it through the right channels. Otherwise, you're giving the wrong people money.
But yeah, a lot of these are on Bandcamp from the official, from the record company, from the ensemble, or they put it on
the
Spotify
low-paying
or
stuff
something
is
like
probably on their YouTube channel.
And also on Bandcamp. So wherever you choose to listen to it, there are places where you
there are official channels. Don't do it through unofficial channels.
Next up, there's a new ensemble composed of Caroline Shaw on violin, James Moore on guitar and banjo, Nathan Kosey on accordion, and Eleanor Oppenheim on bass, a group of composer-performers.
So they're a Polish band?
Kind of weird.
They're like a Polish band. That's a Polish band. I promise you that. If I show that instrumentation to Ashley, she'll be like, "Oh, that's the song of my people."
They've described themselves as a quote-unquote acoustic ensemble. They're calling themselves the Hands Free. Their music, from what they've described themselves as, represents a fusion of classical jazz and folk idioms. and they're new. They just released a new album with New Amsterdam Records, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I think this one's available from the record company on YouTube.
Honestly,
If I'm
I feel
or
bad about this,
SoundCloud
but the
or
one
something.
human I haven't heard of on that list is the bassist.
Yeah. The big name, of course, is Caroline Shaw because she won the Pulitzer a few years ago.
James Moore, I've seen his name attached to banjo stuff.
Right,
I
right.
haven't seen it on guitar, but a lot of banjo
Mhm.
players can play guitar, so that makes
Right,
sense.
and I mean, if you play both, it's likely you'll be more well known as a banjo player because there are so many guitar players.
There are probably just as many banjo players as guitar players. The
hmm
problem is most of them can't read music. That's the
hmm
difference.
hmm
That's a direct quote from a very good banjo player I know. So,
Well,
in
but
fact, that's why I was often paid a lot to play banjo.
anyway, yeah, this should be interesting. I'm meaning to listen to it myself in the coming weeks, but um interesting stuff, especially if you like the kind of stylistic fusion between classical and popular idioms. So go look for it.
Yeah.
And then we have one more uh, as far as new releases go this week. This is from the collective Fraufeld, which I believe is a German-based organization that has basically started this initiative to promote the works of female composers. So they've released their first album, Fraufeld Volume 1, um, on the label Freifeld Tonträger, and it features the works of, and I apologize in advance for the pronunciations once again, because a lot of these are German names. Brenna Zeiner, Susanna Gartmeier, Agnes Visdalek, Christine Niegler, Caitlin Smith, Ingrid Schmoliner, Judith Furstel, Lisa Hoffmaniger, Julia Schreitel, and Astrid and Beate Y. Wiesinger. So lots of composers who I don't know. I think really any of these people don't seem to be as prominent in United States media regarding composers, but but good to check out because it's always good to see what's going on in other countries in composition. I think sometimes well, I as an American, not necessarily everyone who's watching is American, but it can be kind of easy to get caught up in well, what's happening in America, and we forget what's going on elsewhere. Um, so yeah, that's about all we have for recordings this week. Lots of stuff to check out.
Lots and
you have
lots of
lots to
stuff.
listen
And
to.
now I'd say this is probably the biggest headline. I'd say even probably a little bigger on the composer's site. But Dorico 2.
Yes, yes.
This is awesome. I couldn't be happier. Um, so Dorico version 2 is here and it ninja dropped on us. Like I am on top of this stuff, especially with Dorico, and well, they kind of dropped this on us. I mean, I assumed they were working on Dorico V2. Like everyone assumed that because Dorico V1 has
hmm
been a smashing success and I mean it's just been great and they've said, "Oh, we're working on X and Y features." But I had no idea it was coming. I mean, they hinted that yeah, expect a large update to Dorico sometime this summer. I was expecting, oh, maybe they're going to launch like a version 1.3 before
hmm
they do, version 2 in the winter or something. No, they just dropped version 2. Very ninja, very awesome. So there's a lot of big things here.
If this is giving me hope, maybe the next Avengers movie will just come out by surprise in July or something.
I don't think so, unfortunately. I think we've still got to wait 10 more minutes. Not minutes,
Yeah,
months.
10 more minutes.
Just saying.
Understatement of the year. Yeah.
I know, just
Anyway.
I can't get over it. Anyways, but so let's just unpack this a little bit. So it has a lot of new features. It has the video scoring finally, which is something that a lot of people have been waiting on. A lot of film composers and game composers have been waiting for this feature to switch. Because before this, they had to use Finale or Sibelius because, I mean, you've got to have it right there, and a lot of people just operate on like one big screen like what I have right here. They don't have the secondary screen. And it just makes it a little easier because you can sit there and you can like really fine tune your score. Like you can really fine tune just the bass line to time with right when the video is playing through. So that's really good. I'm glad that they have that, and I've looked at the run through of that tool. It's a lot smoother than Finale and Sibelius. I think it's a bit more feature filled personally, but I'm not a film and game composer, so I can't really say 100% that that's good. But I can tell you that from outsider looking in, looks pretty great. The next thing, the automation action. This is really cool. So, like, we were just talking about something like this with Sibelius, and what did I tell you? I was like, yeah, I bet Dorico was working on something similar. You know, you can do kind of the basics, but you can't do all of that yet.
Right.
It's here a week later. I didn't plan it either.
Well, and I saw this, and I also like. I wonder if the dude who made this this plugin had like some insider knowledge or something. Like he's like I gotta.
It shares a lot of the ideas, but
which is
there's
probably
no
a coincidence. I don't know that I'd call it a coincidence. I mean, it's trying to make something that will increase the functionality of Sibelius. But it is a little funny.
Yeah, and I've watched the playthrough of this. It runs 1,000% better. I was right. I mean, it's smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It actually does not just the rhythmic and dynamic stuff. It actually takes care of your note value sliders as well.
And it's native, which is a big plus. To not have to use a plugin in Sibelius, which is not very
which is great. Especially that front page plugin. Man, I hate that thing. Okay, I'm gonna scroll like that. There we go. Large time signatures. So something people have been begging for is, I just want a giant 4/4 for the strings and a giant 4/4 for the percussion, a giant 4/4 for the brass. They've got it now. You can do it. It was really simple, and I don't know why they were holding it out, but this is why they were holding out on us. They wanted to include it in V2. I mean, that's wonderful. I love it. They've got a lot of rock, pop, jazz stuff, just kind of tweaks, improvements, a couple of fan additions, things like that they've included into the baseline software now. So basically, the only thing I've been able to read, because I haven't downloaded V2 yet, I won't be able to for a couple months, unfortunately, due to financial reasons, but from what I gather, it's basically just additions to the chord symbols, and then also they've apparently made tab notation a little easier. Of course, most people don't use tab notation whenever they're using something like Dorico, but again, it's really good for the people that do want to use it.
I hate tab, man, but sometimes you gotta use it.
No, man, I don't believe that one bit.
You do it. Right. You do if you're writing for people who can't read music.
Well, learn to read music. That's my thing. Anyway, so
it takes a lot longer than me writing out a tab.
Next, we have the rhythmic slashes. This is something that is the thing that was holding back a lot of jazz musicians from switching to Dorico. And, it just wasn't a priority for Dorico because they wanted to fix the greater program. They wanted to make sure that was the best music experience for everyone. And given how niche the rhythmic slashes thing is, I get why they waited. And now it's here. So now, jazzers, you got no reason not to. Just saying, that was the big thing holding you guys back. You got nothing now. All right, and then we've got bar repeats. This is something that I enjoy because you can sit there and just have, you can have multi-bar repeats. You can have, numbered bar repeats. So, okay, this is the 4th repetition, 8th repetition, 32nd repetition, however many. I like that. That's a really small tweak, and you're technically able to do it before with just text boxes, but it's nice that they have the option in there just to kind of turn on, hey, every 4 bars.
They put this in the rock, pop, and jazz section of the article. You see this kind of stuff in John Adams all the time.
No, it's not rock, pop, and jazz section. This is
right of the article about this that Dorico put out.
Oh, I guess they did sectionalize.
It is more common in jazz, but you see it in minimalist composers and
you do.
I used it before. I mean,
just there's some classical composers that use chord symbols. I mean, it's a thing. So and then you've got Petaluma, handwritten music font. Basically, all that is just, it's a popular jazz font. If you've ever purchased a real book or a fake book for jazz or rock or any of that, it's that font. That's all I can really say about that. It's just a nice font to have. And then the repeats playback. Repeats work! This is my only gripe is that if I wanted to demonstrate a repeat, I had to sit there and just manually edit and copy over parts of the sound file. But honestly, very small gripe, because that was another thing that Steinberg was like, we can do that, but we're working on some other stuff. And I'm glad that they finally got it. That was one of my biggest gripes, but now that's gone. So I mean, more and more reasons to love Dorico. Then the workflow improvements are great, 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 great. So smart staff management. This is something that it already handles staff management better than other software, but now you can fine tune it. I'm going to just show you the clicky, draggy nature of it, just for lack of better terminology. So let me skip to that. There we go. That's something that people were waiting for a while. So you can just do crazy stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You just drag it over. So it's stuff that you've been able to do, but it's been harder. But they've just made it so intuitive, like it's beautiful now, is what that is. And I felt like the video was the best way to show that because it was hard to explain.
Yeah.
The system track. This is a really deep down and gritty editing thing. There's really nothing to say here other than people like me who are engravers. Hooray! That's all I can really say about that. It's a very niche thing that I use a little bit, but I think it'll be really great. That's not on the forefront. And then some arranging stuff, which is going to be great. You can explode and reduce to and from pianos. That's great, mainly because it's been default in Finale and Sibelius for years. But Dorico now has that, so now even arrangers don't have a reason to stay away from Dorico. It's great. Support for Note Performer 3 too. This is kind of one of the big headlines, just integrated. So, I mean, are you were in the sound design course? Did you guys use Note Performer at all?
No, we didn't.
Oh, you didn't. Okay, you're familiar with Note Performer?
Not really. No.
Oh well, basically, long story short, Note Performer 3 is great for I'll just say the MIDI.
Right, it's a virtual instrument.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like that's basically the best thing about it.
Right.
But I like the fact that it's included. It's typically been a great sound library. I want to double check what the library sounds like beforehand before I say yay it's the best or no it's not. But from what I've heard of it, it's going to be wonderful. I can't wait. It's going to be great. So there's a lot of other stuff. I mean, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I looked, I mean, the actual document they posted on it is something like 3 or 4 PDF pages of just minor line by line improvements that are just phenomenal for it as a whole. But that's not even the best part yet. It gets even better. So
it's free.
If it were free, everyone would just use it. It'd be great. No, so now they have Elements in Pro. So something that a lot of people were talking about is, yeah, we like Dorico, but we don't need all the features. And hey, I teach students. I want them to try Dorico, but I don't want them to have to get the full version if they're just gonna be sitting there writing simple little chamber sonatas or voice and piano works, things like that. Okay, fair enough. So Steinberg has heard us, and now you have the Elements in the Pro edition. And basically, Dorico Elements, think of this as kind of like the Finale print music or the Sibelius First.
Sibelius First, yeah.
Things like that. I still don't even count Sibelius First because Sibelius first of all, you can't do anything. Second of all, it's so new that not many people have even used it, so I'm not worried about it. It's the most analogous thing to it is Finale print music. You can sit there and you can do basically all the basic stuff. You can do up to 12 instruments. That's kind of back to Finale Notepad days of, hey, you have up to 12 instruments, which I think that's fine. I think that's perfectly fair and okay. Basic sound library. You don't get Halion or Note Performer 3, any of that stuff. And then it's got all the basics, basically. But then Pro, which, I mean, you can see the price difference between these two. You've got Elements, which is just kind of the noob version, and Pro for anybody that's actually a composer. So, I mean, this one is where you get all the bells and whistles, all that. So, there's also different ways to, well, get it. So, I mean, if you look at Elements, you've got regular, education. That's not too much of a discount, but still, it counts. But if you go over to Pro version is $560. Upgrading for me is $99. And educational is only $329, so that actually puts it directly in line.
I want to check out the cross-grade pricing for those who may consider switching from Sibelius or Finale.
Education cross-grade, $159.99.
That's not bad if you want.
It's the same.
To switch. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think the old one was $149, but given that
Yeah,
That was a couple years ago. I can see that
that's
with
it's a
inflation.
$10
Yeah.
increase, and it's a big update. So
And
it's a whole new version.
honestly,
Yeah.
for Dorico, that's more than worth it. Like,
Mhm.
I would pay double that to crossgrade right now. I kid you not. Let's see here. So, educational crossgrade, full version crossgrade, 279.99. So, I mean,
Mhm.
anybody is in good shape here.
Yeah.
Like, it's just why wouldn't you? And then once you have elements, you can upgrade from elements to the full version. So
Mhm.
that's nice that you can do that. Uh, However, I'm feeling really good because I got on early with Dorico, so I got it for a steal. I got it for like 180, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know. I got it for like 180 something, and so now I can upgrade, and it's still less than it costs anyone to even like buy into it, and it just makes me so
Mhm.
happy. And it's not a subscription model. Avid.
The subscription model isn't bad if
If
you
you
pair
justify
it
it.
because the way I see it, if you have both the subscription model and the full model, so maybe you want to try it out for a couple months and it's $10 a month.
Mhm.
You spend 20, like that makes perfect sense.
Like the Pro Tools
Um,
one makes sense, especially because
yes.
it's so
Hmm.
expensive, and a lot of people, like you for instance, I
Yeah,
mean, are you going to
I have
need Pro Tools 12 months out of the year? No, for you it makes
maybe
sense just to
it
pay.
depends.
As things stand right now, you wouldn't. I mean, if you decide to be like me and flip back and forth all the time, yeah, probably.
I mean,
But in the future, I
I
mean,
don't know. You know,
you might only use it 3 months out of the year. In which
mhm.
case, why pay $300 for a full product when you can just pay
Right.
$30 once a year?
And ultimately, it's typically going to be cheaper in the long run to buy the full product, but not everybody has $300 lying around, any given month.
Well, and Pro
So,
Tools is just expensive as all get out.
right,
So,
right.
but anyway, so that's huge, Dorico 2, and it literally was a ninja drop. I mean, oh, I love it. And actually, just speaking of things that are ninja dropped, so the sound company THX, I didn't post this, but I was just
Oh, this
reminded
is
this.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, so if I pull up, I believe it was also posted to the Dorico group. So anybody that is remotely familiar with film is aware of THX. They're the ones that have done all the big sounds. Wow, everyone's talking about Dorico too. Go figure. All the big
Oh, who's
sound
going to
stuff.
wait?
Yeah, go figure.
There it
There we go.
is.
Okay. So THX logo. So THX finally, after 35 years, released their logo theme. I love this. I genuinely love this. This is so cool. Like,
Unfortunately, this isn't the original handwritten version. The original handwritten version looks a lot cooler.
it does,
But this is the
but
idea, yeah. Hmm.
I love it. I really
Right.
do. Like, this is the official version. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, the handwritten version exists, but this is like if you wanted to.
No, no, this is somebody put it into Sibelius no, Dorico.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I'm
The
saying.
handwritten
Like,
version is the official version.
yeah. Either
Yes.
way, you can play this, and it's really, really cool sounding. And in fact, one of the things that you learn about whenever you're learning to produce sound in computer programming is, well, mimicking not all of that, but mimicking the bass line. Because people have known the bass line forever. And then just like drop the floor type thing.
Hmm.
I just like it because like the whole thing is basically lower an octave and a half and spread at the same time, which sounds really cool.
Hmm.
And that's just kind of something that you learn in computer programming whenever you're learning how to do sounds,
Hmm.
because it just teaches you a lot of cool tools. But yeah, so this is really cool. This is a really cool part of not just music and film history, but yeah, it's just cool. I mean, just seeing this, because I mean, you hear that and it sounds really,
Hmm.
it almost sounds fake, but this proves that it's like, no, real instruments played this. I promise. So I mean,
Hmm.
isn't that like just the
Yeah.
coolest thing?
So just yeah, I thought it was really cool when I saw it. Yeah, just this
Like
so
what, the handwritten?
iconic. That yeah, this is the actually, yeah,
Yeah,
original.
this is
Hmm.
the 35th version, 35th anniversary version. Sorry, there weren't
Hmm.
35 iterations of this, I think. But yeah, that's just, it is really cool. I really love this. I appreciate it. I would like to find out if we can have performance rights to this. That'd be fun doing something like
Just
improv,
do it like at
but
the beginning of the content.
yeah, I think that'd be really cool. But and then speaking of improv, that just reminded me there's one extra thing that I want to mention before we close out. We've just been railing with news, but also a local congratulations to the Oklahoma Composers Orchestra.
Oh yes.
Basically, Oklahoma Composers Orchestra is a bunch of volunteers. I volunteered myself this time around because they needed some extra, well, bodies, and there were some neat pieces played. Congratulations to the Oklahoma Composers Orchestra and the director, Jamie Whitmarsh. There's actually a piece on there that I think I'm going to be stealing for improv because I feel you know our improv group. I think you
Yeah.
know as well as I do that a group of people like us that know how to improvise, we could do so much with that piece.
Oh
that I
yeah,
wanna do.
and the piece is it's a piece by a composer named Kala Pearson. And what was the name of the piece?
Broadloom.
Broadloom. It's a really cool piece. Completely improvisational. Had kind of a minimalist quality to it.
Which again, it strikes all the
yeah.
right chords for me. I love it.
And at the performance that the orchestra did last week, they started off with like a bunch of the orchestra members were just in the seats, and they just kind of gradually started playing and got up and walked to the stage, and it sounded really cool. But yeah, interesting piece. I enjoyed it. So if we do decide to do that, I'm looking
Again,
forward
we
to
could
it.
do
Yeah.
a lot of good things with
Mhm.
that, and that's actually something that I would like to talk to people about doing on a convocation, perhaps, and do it
Mhm.
in Sharp. That
Yeah.
would be really cool.
Yeah.
Just like a
Mhm.
ninja performance from Sharp Hall. That would be
Right.
really,
Right.
really cool. So that's something I'm going to be working on in the meantime. I got so many like projects.
Mhm.
That's the weird thing. Like once you're done with school, you find other projects to occupy your time. And now my projects are I want to get this weird music played.
Mhm.
I want to feed a piano. Anyways, but that's all for today.
Yes.
We didn't have any time for any of our non-news related stuff, but
Mhm.
as you can see, action-packed day, just or week rather. I mean, the past
Mhm.
week has just been enormous, and the past, 24 hours, I'd say the most significant of them because I mean, Dorico too. I mean, you don't even have to be a Dorico fan to know that that is huge, because well, Dorico, that and the composer site thing. And we had some good premieres. We had some good new music
The
coming
funny
out.
thing about Dorico 2 is that there was just some Facebook page that posted a fake Sibelius 9 box, and I was like, "Wait, is this real?" It's like, "No, it's
No.
not."
Dorico has had two versions
And,
in the time that Sibelius has had.
and so then it's like, well, Dorico's like, well, we're gonna do it for real.
Yeah.
So
That is actually interesting. So Dorico's now had two versions in the time that neither Sibelius or Finale have actually upgraded. I mean, Finale hit their 2018 build, but it didn't add anything.
right.
All it really did was pretty up the interface. So I think that's interesting and very telling of the future.
Well, and Dorico's obviously in the rocket stages of development. So it's understandable that they're trying to update quicker and quicker, but it does seem that
No, honestly,
Sibelius and
I've
Finale.
doubted things like that before, but like even for
Uh-huh.
a, we're gonna end in just a minute, I promise. But I do just want to mention this. I mean, I I've seen like for instance, there's games companies that have released like an old version of their game, and it's like how could you possibly keep up with a weekly update for an MMO?
Mm-hmm.
And they do weekly updates for an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if a video game can do weekly builds, weekly updates,
Mm-hmm.
which are arguably much more complicated than
Yeah.
notation software, then I think it's not unreasonable to have a monthly update
Well,
for
and I
things
mean,
like Dorico, Sibelius, and Finale.
we know Avid's been slacking off. I mean, that's no.
I think they're
no
just waiting on
secret.
Sibelius to die. That's honestly my theory at this point. I think they're just waiting for enough people to get angry at Sibelius to where they're like, hey, due to falling numbers, we're just shutting down Sibelius.
Mm-hmm.
But if they were just to do it outright, it would cause a lot of negative impact
If
for their other products.
Yeah, if
I
they
think
did it now,
that's
people would be really
I think
mad,
that's
yeah.
what they're doing. I think it's just I think it's a thought out and stupid, just kind of vamp down. Like,
Mhm.
because I mean, when's the last major updates Bailey's had? Like what, 3 years ago?
Mhm.
Whatever they update. No, that was like 5 years ago that they did the ribbon. Because the ribbon update was
Yeah.
really the biggest thing. Then 7.5 was when they introduced a really good playback system. But
Mhm.
I mean, they haven't done anything for
Well,
years.
that's what that's what happens when you fire all your programmers.
Yeah, they all went
A
to
lesson
Dorico.
a lesson for all you tech companies out there watching who I know are very interested in what we have to say. Don't fire all your programmers. I think that's all for today.
Tech companies make other stupid decisions, so that's okay. All right.
So
That's it for Composer Talk, May
yes.
30th, 2018. Thanks very much for watching. Peace
And
out.
please send us your hate mail.
Well, hopefully it's not hate mail. I would like for it to not be hate mail. Please don't send hate mail.
I don't mind hate mail.